Welcome back to the Right Hand Podcast, where we talk about how law firm owners can build stronger, smarter, and more sustainable law firms. Most law firm owners, basically, they start their firms to gain freedom or independence. But as the firm grows, new challenges arise, and that can form in hiring, leadership, operations, and profitability. This podcast here, what we do is what we try to do is explore the strategies and insights that help law firm owners move from simply practicing law to actually successfully running a law firm. This is brought to you by Reuben Allen and our sister company, Marshall Graham Consulting. We are your strategic right hand for growing law firms. My name is Greg Copeland. And today, what we're going to do is we're talking about, as a law firm owner, recognizing the next growth stage in your law firm. And this is one of the most challenging parts of actually running a law firm. And that's just kind of figuring out what to do next. Um, and not just day-to-day decisions, but bigger questions, like should we hire? Should we expand? Should we invest in new systems or systems at all? Should we slow down in our growth? Are we growing too fast? These questions, basically, they all point to something deeper, and that's understanding what stage your firm is in. And with that, recognizing what actually comes next. And so today, what we're doing is we're talking about how to recognize the next growth stage of your law firm and why that awareness truly matters. Um, I guess the first question you ask in all of this that's going on is, why does growth feel so unclear? And so many law firm owners, they don't think in terms of stages of their firm. They think in terms of activity. Oh, I gained more clients this month, or we have more work this month, or I hired two people. But that's not all what growth is. Growth is not just about doing more. It's about evolving the structure of your firm. And without that understanding, that growth can actually feel confusing, even chaotic at times. So what we're going to do is you need to learn how to recognize the stages, and we're going to just kind of go through these stages that we work with, that we identify with our clients. So stage one is the foundation stage, and this is the early stage, the beginning. You're happy, you just decide to go out on your own, starting your new firm, hang your shingle, as they say. And the goals in that are usually simple goals. Bring in clients, do good work so the clients keep coming back, generate revenue. And, as the law firm owner, the law firm founder, you're usually deeply involved in everything, in every single step, piece, motion of that law firm. And this stage it's really all about building momentum. It's about setting yourself up, setting that foundation, getting off to a good start. But then what happens is you move on to stage two, and that's what we call the growth stage. And that's when the firm begins to grow. More cases do come in. Maybe the team expands, you add a legal assistant, a paralegal, or associate attorney, whatever it may be. You can see the actual increase in revenue. But what happens in this stage, in this growth stage, what's introduced in that stage is complexity. And as with everything, the more people you add, the more complex things get. There's more moving parts, everyone trying to figure out what their role are. You need more coordination within the firm, because it's just not you hands-on handling everything. Now someone else is involved. It's not just one mind, it's two or three. And this is often when firms begin to feel stretched a little bit. And it's because what worked during the foundation stage, when it was just one person, that's no longer good enough. That's no longer enough for it to work with two or three people. Um, Stage three in all this is that's what we like to call the structure stage. And in stage three, at some point, the firm has to, it must, it's crucial that the firm shifts towards structure. And this is where successful firms, they separate themselves from others. Successful firms begin building. They begin creating defined processes. Um, they define roles, so everyone in the firm knows exactly what their role is, what they're responsible for. They create operational systems, intake, billing, client contact, um, and they also create basically leadership layers. Who's reporting to who, um, and why? So this stage, in stage three, it's less about growth and more about creating that stability for that firm so it can continue to grow and moving forward. It's about building and solidifying that foundation that basically can support future expansion, basically installing those processes and those operations and those systems where the firm can operate as efficiently with two people as it does with 10 people. Um, in the fourth stage of all of this is what we like to call the scale stage, and that's once you have this structure in place, then you can begin to scale more efficient. Uh, your growth basically becomes more predictable. You can map it out, and it makes sense to everyone. Workflows become consistent because everyone knows what they're responsible for. They know the timelines of what should be done and when and how. What that does is it allows the firm owner, firm founder to kind of pull back just a little bit, and the team begins to operate with greater independence. So at this stage, the firm is no longer dependent on the owner's constant oversight, um, because everyone's role is defined and they know what to do. So it's not always going to the owner of the firm and asking, what do I do next? What should I do? What do I do next? It's laid out for them. It's all laid out for them. And so I guess the question is, as a law firm owner, how do you recognize the stage that your firm is in? And you know, what you need to do is ask yourself a few simple questions. Um, Number one is, does everything depend on you? Are you still hands on in every aspect of the firm, or are you still hands on in 85% of what's going on in the firm? Does everything depend on you? Uh, Question two is, do you feel overwhelmed by all of these daily decisions, because every single decision falls on you, from you know what clients to take on to you know do we need to order paper? So does every single decision fall on you daily, and are you overwhelmed by this responsibility? Um, Another question: are your systems keeping up with your growth? Do your systems, your intake system, work with the amount of clients that you're getting in? Um, does your billing system keep up with the amount of clients that you have? Does your client communications system, are you effectively and clearly communicating with your clients in a timely manner, or are people falling, into the cracks? Um, and is your team operating independently? This is probably one of the most important questions. Is your team operating independently, or are they constantly seeking direction? So the answers to those questions, they're going to point to which stage that you're at, and you need to gain some alignment, because there's a cost to when you're misaligned. Um, and what I mean by that is you're skipping stages in that growth. And are you trying to scale before you actually build structure? Which is a mess because now you're adding more people, but you haven't defined the roles. You haven't um, laid out what the particular processes and procedures are. Um, with that, not defining the roles, are you actually hiring before you're defining those roles? Like, are you just bringing on a paralegal without defining their roles, or a legal assistant without defining their role, an associate attorney without defining this person's role? Are you just hiring just to be hiring, being reactive, or do you have their role uh, clearly mapped out so they have clarity on what being successful in that particular role looks like? Um, and are you expanding without systems? Are you not putting in those systems and those operations in place to help you grow? And when this happens, if you skip steps or you're out of step, that growth, what it does is create stress instead of progress. So what you need to do next is don't rush to grow. Don't rush to grow. Um, you need to align your actions with your stage. If you're in the growth stage, focus on the structure. If you're building structure, focus on clarity and consistency. If your systems are strong, then what happens is scaling becomes a lot easier. Uh, every law firm goes through stages, but the most successful law firms, they're not the ones that are growing the fastest. They're the ones that actually grow in the right order, the right way. They recognize where they are. They understand what comes next, and what they do is they build intentionally. There's rhyme and reason to their growth, and that's how firms grow, with stability instead of with chaos. So thank you for listening to the Right Hand Podcast. Uh, if you're a law firm owner looking to build stronger, more organized, and more profitable firm, please visit us at www.reuben-allen.com to learn more about how we help law firms grow. If you found this episode to be helpful, be sure to follow us and share with another law firm leader. Until next time, keep building the law firm you set out to create. Thank you.